Hey, I'm Paul,
And I'm Maria with 7 Stars Bar and Grill.
and today we're going to talk about more beer like we've done in the past. This time, today, we're going to talk about Lagunitas, specifically a Lagunitas IPA. Um, for many people, from my perspective anyways, it happens a lot over here. People will come up and they'll ask, let me get a Lagunitas. And often we'll carry more than one, and I got to stop and ask, okay, which one? And at the same time, they'll come up and say, let me get an IPA. And again, we'll have like
The IPA.
the IPA.
Let me get the IPA.
Let me get the IPA. And we've got, we'll have sometimes 3 or 4 different IPAs over there. And so again, we got to ask, okay, which one? And I get the impression, I feel like, they think we're the dumb ones. Like, this is what I'm asking for. But we were talking about Lagunitas IPA this time.
More than one Lagunitas, more than one IPA.
Yeah, more than one, totally.
So I thought of a Lagunitas IPA as being the most mainstream of the IPAs, but not necessarily the best. And as we mentioned before, we are not beer connoisseurs, so that wasn't based on personal tastes or anything, but just the fact that you could find it anywhere and find it everywhere, at arenas, at stadiums, every single bar we go into.
It's a staple everywhere, so it says something about the beer.
Yeah, so I thought it was because it was, this more of a mainstream and maybe not the best, but just the most well-known. And I kind of started pulling away from having it here at the bar. We always are going to have the standards. You're always going to find Jack and Jameson on our shelves. But especially when it comes to the beer, we really try and do things that are a little more unique, harder to find, more unusual, or that you're only going to find here at our bar and not necessarily find everywhere you go. And so I started kind of pulling away from it. But then in 2013...
We did the Battle of the IPAs.
There's a blind taste test that we did here in the bar, and people voted. And of course, it wasn't some huge study or 500 people or anything. But I kind of expected that when people were going to be able to try the beer without that big name attached to it, that it wouldn't come in very high. And it did not win. It wasn't number 1. No. It was like number 2 or number 3.
It was up there for sure.
And so that's when I realized that it's everywhere because it's so good and it's well liked and it's a really good beer. So ever since then, it's been our staple that it's pretty much you can always find the Lagunitas IPA here on our shelves.
Now, so Lagunitas, located here in California, Petaluma up north. It started back in 1993. It was the leading craft brewery at the time. But in 2013, it was ranked fifth top selling craft brewery by the. In the U.S., whoever judges that.
So it was a leading brewery, a craft brewery, until it was no longer a craft brewery.
Until it was no longer a craft brewery. In 2015, Heineken bought 50% of it. Now, the American Brewers Association, or the Brewers Association, says craft brewery must be owned at least 75%. You can sell off a quarter of it, independently owned. You can sell off a quarter of it and still be considered a craft beer. But in this case, it no longer. Heineken bought them out 50%. They came back in 2017, Heineken did, and bought the other 50%. So
now you can find them worldwide.
Yeah, all over the place now, for sure.
Lagunitas also had kind of an outlaw reputation. You may have heard that the hops that give IPAs their distinctive flavor are related to cannabis, botanically speaking, or some sort of and I was trying to do some research. It's kind of somewhat associated, but Lagunitas always really embraced that connection and that association. So a lot of their labels had references to cannabis, and they allegedly encouraged enjoying cannabis at their brewery when they would do their tasting parties. And so in 2005, there was a St. Patrick's Day raid in 2005 by the ABC, and I just thought was so funny that ABC, the point of the whole operation was to catch employees dealing marijuana. They thought they were going to find them selling drugs there, and so they said they had a 2-month undercover operation, which I find highly
suspect.
That they had to spend 2 months sitting around the brewery, and the whole case mostly fell apart because nobody would sell it to them, but they would give it to them for free. So ultimately, they did suffer a 20-day shutdown, but it wasn't the big bust that they were expecting it to be.
And yeah, it didn't hurt them.
And in like classic right back at you form, Lagunitas released a beer in its honor called Undercover Investigation Shutdown Ale. So they were able to cash in on it.
They capitalized on it, yeah, for sure.
So it was really, really awesome. Yeah. What do you think?
I like it. It's a little stronger, I guess, to my taste. But like the others, it just, give it a second and it leaves you wanting more. It's like, oh, I got that taste in my mouth. Let me just drink some more. And I just keep going like that. It's good. It's good.
It's exactly what I expect an IPA to taste like. It's that real bitterness, which just I've never really gotten into IPAs and found that I love them. But like you said, after a minute, I want a little more.
For the longest time, if you start talking about IPAs or you ask me about IPAs, and I start thinking about it, imagining it, Lagunitas is what comes to mind. Again, you see it everywhere, so it's always in our face. So this is my definition of an IPA when I think about it. It's not my favorite, but it's good. It's good.
Not his favorite type of beer.
Not my favorite type of beer. Not my favorite type of beer. Not my favorite IPA, but it's definitely good.
It's crisp. It's clean. It does have a good flavor. It's just that bitterness is just something I have never gotten into. Yeah. The other thing we want to talk to you about is our next big upcoming event is our New Year's Eve party.
New Year's Eve, yep. Big fun, good time. This is going to be our 9th year doing it.
9th one, yep. So we wanted, when we had our first New Year's Eve, was back for New Year's Eve. It was happening in 2011 for 2012.
Right.
And we wanted to kind of come at it in a little different way and think about how to do something special for New Year's Eve. So we used to be able to have house parties back before we owned a bar.
Yeah.
And we also were thinking about the staff that was going to work and how it can be a good time for them too. And so we do a ticketed event. And that ticketed event is, this year it's $75 plus an automatic gratuity of $15. So you pay $90 when you get your ticket, and then the night of you don't pay anything, and that's all you can eat and all you can drink.
So the food we set out, we run through our small bites, and we'll throw out some big stuff there. It's refreshed throughout the night.
Pulled pork is one that's not on the small bites that gets out for the night.
Pulled pork, our meatballs, or
meatball sandwiches,
hearty stuff to eat, and then it's inclusive. So drinks are at the bar. There's no running tabs. There's no paying cash. There's no counting change for the staff.
So we think of it like we're throwing a house party here. We kind of wanted that living room feel. So we get as much of our staff working that night as we can, which sometimes people have plans, but most of the staff's here. And we rotate out where the staff comes out, mingles with people. Because it's all inclusive, we have beer tubs set up. We start cheersing at 9 o'clock in New York City, and that's usually cold cock.
We'll go to Chicago time
at 10 o'clock,
and then there's Jello shots and
then Phoenix is 11, and that is Pedialyte because we want you to still love us in the morning.
Yeah, plenty of Pedialyte and water to drink to keep you hydrated and make you feel a little better in the morning.
And then of course we do a midnight champagne toast. But doing the ticketed event and having it be all inclusive means that we're not doing math, we're not keeping track of things. It allows the staff to be able to come out and rotate. They'll make up a tray of their favorite shots or their favorite cocktail and just go around and hand it out. It's because we're not having to keep track of it.
It's a lot of fun for everybody. It encourages the staff to come out and hang out and really get to socialize more than the quick back and forth at the bar while they're making a drink. We've all got friends and regulars that come in, so it's nice to be able to come out on this side of the bar, hang out for a few, and really get to enjoy the night.
And the guests seem to really get that feeling of being like a living room, like a house party where everyone starts mingling with each other like you would at a house party. It definitely has a different feel than other weekend nights at the bar here and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do get some frequently asked questions. I'm going to knock those out super fast. One of them is, I don't drink. Can I get a discounted ticket that doesn't include the alcohol? Unfortunately, we can't. The whole point of this is that it's one price. We're done. We're not keeping track of things. We're not monitoring or trying to restrict people access to anything. The same. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I have big plans to go to dinner that night. Can I get a ticket that doesn't include food?" And it's the same thing. It's not that we're trying to exclude anyone or not encourage everyone's lifestyle choices and whatnot. It's just that this is how it works. The event works this way, and so we know we're not for everyone. We totally get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we also know we've done research and we've looked into other places like clubs downtown and stuff where you're paying $100 just to get through the door, and then you have to buy all your food and drinks after that. So we know, it's not for everyone. So we're doing what we can that works the best way. Usually about 50 to 80 people, so it's not packed.
It's not crazy.
Not a lot of waiting. And so we know like it's a fit for the people it's a fit for, and it's not always for everyone. Oh, and then the all-inclusive. Does it really mean all-inclusive? All you can drink. The only thing that's off limit is our ultra premium top shelf.
Yeah, so we had to draw the line somewhere. So Johnny Walker Blue Label and Don Julio 1942.
That's the only thing.
We drew the line there. We'll have it, and if you wanted to pay the extra for the top shelf stuff, you can. It's still there, but that's where we draw the line. Everything else,
And so, like, right now, Pliny the Elder's on draft, although it was a crazy weekend, and I don't know if it's going to still be there on Tuesday. But if there's any left,
if it's still there,
it'll be part of what's available that night,
falls
too.
in there also,
so all of our drafts, all the rest of our spirits and premiums, liquors and everything.
Bottles, all the cans. White Claw.
We have White Claw.
Lots of White Claw.
We got the variety pack. We got the black cherry. We got mango.
Lots of flavors.
So we hope you think about joining us. We're looking forward to having a great time.
If you have any questions, give us a call. Hit us up online. Facebook and Instagram, best way to go.
DM's great.
DMs. Twitter works as well. Maria most likely will be the one to answer it, but I'll catch it too. But yeah, give us a call. Let us know what you think.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Happy New Year's.